Hey guys, this is Brittany. This is my response post to all of your amazing posts for the Module 3. I'm going to do at random as I always do, starting with Miss Tammy. Tammy, I love the fact that you focused in on the intersectionality model. I felt like it was one of the more effective models, especially since we had just been introduced to all these models, as you said, that kept on focusing on one facet or introducing the facets and not really showing how they work with one another. I felt like this finally addressed that and finally really saw the kind of motion of individuals, of how we move in between these different facets of identity and how that makes up who we are. And just tying in with the mentioning of your student, which I also really appreciated, of him being homesick, of just seeing these students as individuals. I know for me it's really easy to fall back into the idea of cliques. Just seeing students as athletes, in these certain groups. So to really get to know the girls that I work with, the women's basketball team, not only as students, not only as females, but as athletes and as student athletes, and to finally begin to see what that means. The term student athlete is used a great deal, but I feel like we often don't really appreciate it for what it is and what responsibilities are placed upon them, what expectations. So I just really appreciated the fact that you are addressing those issues. And asking how his home life is, and I know he definitely appreciates that too. And Christina, I absolutely loved your mentioning and your perception of diversity. I definitely agree with the fact that we do have to be cautious as higher education representatives. Of exactly what we're going into, not only, acknowledging the diversity of a group, but of the individual, of really appreciating the fact that there are other higher education representatives, that there are faculty, staff, there are friends that they're interacting with, and that we are one part of that whole equation, and to have to come in with those, with acknowledging that we ourselves are individuals, that we have our own teaching style, and to really just to take that into account. And that's why I love all of these models, just being introduced to them so much, for the fact that we can, have that kind of knowledge set to have it available. Maybe that's not the way that we go into a situation thinking, but we do have the knowledge that it's there and do have it as an option, to make available to be one more of our pieces of talents for higher education representatives. Catherine, I loved your mentioning of the census. I just feel like it's something that is so kind of apart from higher education that we can appreciate what it's saying, away from what we're trying to do. And your mentioning of American Indians, I know me myself, I felt like even after I read the text, I kept on thinking about what can we do to help these students to really make that transition more smooth. Because as you said, it is so hard to find a model that can effectively help them, since tribes are so different, not even to mention American Indians as a whole, as we tend to kind of categorize them, but the tribes that are in their culture. So I just found that so interesting, and leading into Matthew with the same discussion, just the fact that the students gave up that full ride to stay true to their culture, and just how we can effectively study that in a model, maybe the overarching themes of the tribes. I'm not sure, but it's just, something that I definitely want to look into further, of how we can help those students and include their culture. I know I myself would love to learn more about it. Like Catherine, I'm part Indian, some percentage. But you wouldn't know it, and I don't know enough about the culture myself. Um, so I definitely feel like it's something that we can do better, and definitely look into the future. I also found really interesting your mentioning of the acronym for UNCW, the UNC White. I definitely hadn't heard that before. And it's definitely discouraging, something I hope, and it sounds, from what you said, and some of the things that Chris, one of our classmates, was saying in class, in Dr. McClure's class rather, that we're trying to address, that we're recognizing it as a problem and something that we're trying to move into a more positive light with, which is encouraging, but something definitely that I'm appreciative that we're able to be honest about in the discussion. But I really just appreciated all your posts. As always, you guys had amazing perceptions on everything. And can't wait to hear what else you have to say. Hear from you soon. Bye. Bye.